to come for me, but I don't care. 'Cause I'm gonna die on this hill. Our good enough is really fucking good. Hello, everybody. We are here today. I have myself and Kara Harrison here. And I cannot wait for today's conversation. I'm going to let Kara introduce herself and tell us a little bit more about herself, her business, her mission, and we're going to get into some conversation about some cunty things that are going on in her life and business that I cannot wait to talk about. All right, so Kara, what is the name of your business and what's the mission behind it?
Right now, it's just Tattoos by Kara Dee Harrison. It's pretty much just my name. I've been tattooing for a little over 5 years now, and my mission in my business has been growing lately into wanting to expand the standards of service and care in the industries. Learning to art better is great. That will always be the journey no matter what, but I want to learn how to do better by my clients and how to make the experiences they have with me truly, truly magical. That's what I've been focusing on lately.
Oh my gosh. Everyone, Kara and I met at The Most in LA, and I was just immediately obsessed with this mission and this idea that Kara had. So tell us a little bit more, Kara, about what that looks like for you. What is the experience and the level of care that you want to bring forward for your clients in your tattoo work?
Okay, so I feel like it's funny that you mentioned The Most, that's where we met, but I feel like that's where this whole idea really solidified into something. It was just this idea that I've had for a long time where I'm I know that I can give people a nice experience or a bad experience based on the things that I do in the shop, but I was in LA when I really started realizing how much I could impact that and how it could be this very intentional journey. It actually goes back to an experience a few years ago with a friend of mine where I think it was actually before I even started tattooing. I was maybe apprenticing then, but we went to a tattoo shop together while we were traveling. There was me and my 2 best friends. We all got tattooed same day, 3 different artists, all getting tattooed simultaneously in the shop, within eyesight of each other. Everybody in the same space. We should have been having a very similar time.
Right.
But we got out of the shop, onto the train, heading back to where we were going. And 2 of us were rambunctiously excited. Wow, that was so great. That was so fun. Oh my God, my tattoo. Can you believe it? And our 3rd friend burst into tears. Yeah, she had this horrible experience of feeling like her artist didn't care, just slapped her design together, didn't connect with her, barely spoke to her, didn't really give her the aftercare, was kind of yeah, do whatever your friends are doing, whatever. And she went into this beautiful shop and had a bad experience in the next chair over from where we were having beautiful experiences. And that was very much based on that person's energy and everything. So I know that there are lots of wonderful shops that go to a lot of effort to make their spaces welcoming and inviting and clean and happy and curating the visual experience. But I feel it needs to be a full sensory experience, the way that you feel, everything. And then and I'm just going to ramble a little further. And then for me,
I love it. Tell the people. Tell us. No,
so I'm currently in the middle of building a private studio, physically building a building. And one of the things that I want to do there is create these full sensory experiences where I want it to be, you walk in and the temperature is nice. It feels nice in there, whether it's warm or cool, whatever you like. It smells pleasant, or maybe there's no smells at all if that's what you're into. Everything, the art is beautifully curated. We're having a lovely time. We're talking. We've got snacks and drinks. All your needs are met and cared for in that moment.
Yeah.
So you have every opportunity to have this great, wonderful, cared for experience so that when you walk out, you don't just have this piece of art. Because let's be clear, the art that my friend has is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's perfect. There's nothing wrong with that tattoo. Doesn't feel good about it.
Right.
And that's based on the experience.
Absolutely.
And so I want to take this good tattoo and make it a magical experience, which just elevates everything around it, which I feel artists don't even realize they have the power to do.
Right.
So I want to talk about that a lot. I don't want to just secretly do it myself. I want to tell everybody how and why they should be doing it too. So that's it. That's the mission.
I love it so much. I've been a massive fan since meeting you at the most and hearing this idea that then crystallized. I connected with that idea so much on different levels, and I didn't even have my tattoo yet at that point. You saw me get my tattoo at the end of the trip, my very first one. But I want to say a few things. So first of all, everybody, you're going to go follow Kara on Instagram after this, if you're not already, at crashing.cadence. So everyone is going to be following you on Instagram to be able to follow your journey and see you and your partner actually legitimately building this studio, which I think is incredible that you're taking people along on this journey, and it's so fucking cunty that you're building your own fucking studio. So we're going to talk about that in just a minute. We're going to talk about that because that's cunty as fuck. So we're going to talk about that. But I have to say first, I hope you put in like an espresso machine or some kind of coffee machine. Because the first thing I said to you, I remember when you had this idea, I was like, oh my God, I love when I go to a hair salon and they offer me a latte or a cappuccino. Immediately, I'm like, they have my best interests in mind. They love me. I am safe. I am going to be taken care of here.
Okay. Yes, 100%. I just got one of those little pod guys where you put little things in.
Yeah,
amazing. But I don't like how the pods get thrown away because environmental consciousness is also part of my mission.
Yes,
so it's
yes.
That doesn't really work. So you can buy now these little plastic reusable pods.
Amazing.
You can put whatever you want in them. So I was like, oh, I can mix all these different flavors and all these different yummy mixes. I found recipes.
Wow.
Mix, cool things, and then you just scoop them into your little pot, and then it's custom and delicious, and then I'm gonna have them all labeled with do you like this flavor, that flavor. So
oh my God, love
your
it.
suggestions were noted.
Good. I'm so glad. There are people listening to this right now be like, she knows what's up.
They juice and other things too. You don't have to drink coffee. It's fine.
Yes. Oh my God. I love it so much. And I remember another part of this was because I was a midwife before and a doula, I have a very good understanding about the pain gateway in the body and how trauma and pain can be very closely correlated, and my learning was in the context of birth, but just like your friend had that experience, there are a lot of people, I'm sure, that really go into a situation like this where there is some pain and they want to feel safe. They want to feel taken care of. They have anxieties and questions, and they want to make sure that the person who's going to be doing the tattoo has all of this in mind, and that will actually make the pain be perceived as lower, right? Because when we have fears and anxieties, the pain can actually be perceived higher.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can work yourself into a tizzy being just stressed out about what it's going to be, what's going to happen, what's going on, and the things around you. If there's a lot of things happening around you that are also loud and really, really stressful or really distracting, that can be really harmful too to different people. And particularly my clientele tends to be a lot of really nerdy folk. That's just who I am and who I draw. Lots of members of the queer community, I talk to lots of neurodiverse people, which absolutely makes sense. And what? So especially for people who are I don't want this really loud, really obnoxious, really, really stimulating environment. You're we can calm this down. We can make it a really nice time and make sure that you're not having these unnecessary levels of anxiety, because you're absolutely right. You can affect, the person getting the tattoo can affect how it feels based on the things that you're experiencing around you. And me, the tattoo artist, can affect that by creating the experience around you and also making sure that you know what's going on and you're feeling safe and supported. I always say that tattoo is a team sport. Both of us need to really be participating to make it work. Yeah. And so it's so important that we're working together towards a common goal of getting you the art, but in the best way possible. And making it hopefully the least painful possible. I cannot guarantee a pain-free experience.
No, and nor should you.
But something that's less painful and less traumatic, absolutely.
Yeah. That's so huge, and I think that's such a powerful disruption in the industry, and just you coming in with such an innovative, fresh perspective. which
Yeah.
I absolutely am here for and love. And I'm so excited for you and for all of your clientele. So I want to know if you can tell us a little bit more about your story and this experience of being courageous, unapologetic, notable, transcendent, and you authentically in your life and business throughout this experience and what that's looked like for you and how that has played out for you.
Totally. Just like a super quick life summary, like no big deal.
Not a whole life, but like this specific journey, because I know that it's a relatively new, like you said, it's a relatively new actual physical thing that's coming into being from this year. So walk us through what that experience has been like for you and how you had to be cunty in this.
Totally. So I feel like that was really set for me, like even like with my apprenticeship and like before I started tattooing, because I just call myself like a later in life tattooer because like I started my apprenticeship like after 30. I started working at the tattoo shop. I started the front desk when I was maybe like 27, 28. And a lot of people historically get into this business when they're like 18, 19, 20 years old. It's like very common for people to start young. And so I had this like entire decade of like career experience unrelated to this industry. So when I got here, it was, wait, I don't know, why are we doing it this way? Because I had these adult experiences to draw from as opposed to just being like, I'm 18, I guess I got to do whatever you say because I don't know any better. So I feel like I walked into the entire work situation just being like, I think we can improve this and that and this and that. And was always like really vocal.
I love that.
Even like little things around the shop. I started just at the front desk and I managed the shop for many years. So I always had like my hands in everything, making sure that like I just really like to be in control of things, honestly, is the thing. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure my way could be better, so we have to check it out.
Yeah. I think that's a common trait for entrepreneurs. I think it
is. I think that's exactly the draw is I see what you're doing, but I really want to take that and just tweak it a little bit and then maybe put my little spin on it. So
and basically do it completely differently. It's cool.
So then like when I got my apprenticeship, it was like I'd been wanting to work in this industry for years. I'd been working in the industry for about 3 or 4 years before like my mentor took me on in like a traditional apprenticeship, like teaching me how to physically tattoo. And even within that relationship was super non-typical because he was 5 years younger than me, which generally your mentor is somebody with a lot of experience. And he was someone with a lot of experience, but he's someone that started at 18. Even being younger than me, he already had 7, 8 years under his belt where I was brand new. So there was this really interesting dynamic of being like, oh, in a traditional apprenticeship, you have to break them down to build them up, teach them these things. And I was like, sir, I am a grown-ass woman. I don't need that. So like, I have a mortgage. You're not going to teach me how to be a person.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So I feel like I was always like, I always felt like I was a step behind. Like I was like, I'm too old for this. Why has this not happened for me yet? Why is this taking so long? But also anytime I did get into anything, I always had this like, honestly, like friendly combative energy. Like, why are we doing it this way? I always want to challenge the status quo and be like, I get that you're doing that. Like you're teaching me that because you were taught that, but was that valid?
Right.
Or we do it this way because everyone else in the shop does it this way, but could it be different? Could it be better? So I feel like I have always been pushing up against what people think is expected or appropriate or standard in the industry and just been like, why though? Why? I'm just that really annoying kid who's just like, why? 45 times in a row. And if you can't tell me why, then I guess I better make something that is explicable because if you can't explain to me why we do it this way, then maybe it's not the right way. And then, so then I started actually tattooing. And then same thing as a tattoo artist, I had this very specific vision of serving the exact clientele that I have right now. And I just knew my people were out there. And then I was like, look, I am someone who's like super nerdy and really wants to get these like silly, weird, colorful, nonsensey tattoos that are like, ooh, like weird. Give me like a colorful dinosaur, some pop culture nonsense reference or some things like that. And I just felt like there weren't, at the time anyway, very many or any artists I was familiar with who were doing that. So I was like, I'll do that. Amazing. Because I was really confident that those people were out there being underserved. And I think I was very right because I see a lot more artists doing that stuff now. and a ton of clients looking for it. So I remember at the time it was kind of like, Kara, nobody wants that stuff. And I was like, disagree. Heavy disagree.
That is so cunty and amazing. So what helped give you that confidence and that courage to believe in yourself when that wasn't the norm that you saw around you?
Okay, so I just felt in my heart like I couldn't be the only one. Like, I felt like this is something I wish existed. And there are so many times in this world, in this life, where you can, if you have the opportunity to look backwards and be like, what did I need 5 years ago, 10 years ago, as a kid, depending on what it is that you do? What did I used to need, and can I be that for someone else now?
Yeah.
And so I just looked around and was like, yeah, when I was starting to get tattooed, I would have loved an environment like this. I would have loved an artist like this. I would have loved to be able to walk into a shop and explain my super nerdy nonsense idea and have the artist get really hyped with me instead of some cool bro who's like, oh, okay.
Or worse,
was mean to me about it. Like, best case scenario was some like indifferent nonsense. I'm like, no, I am an enthusiastic human being, and I really need people to meet me at my energy.
Yes.
So and I feel like I can do that for people. Like when people come in and they have like high intensity energy about the thing that they're so excited about, if they're like hyper fixating on something, or it's just this is like their favorite thing in the whole world, I'm like, yes. Let's do it. I can be reasonable and calm when I need to be, when that's appropriate. But I also can really rise to the occasion when it comes to like intense amounts of excitement or enthusiasm on a topic. I feel like that's something I excel at. And I just knew in my heart, there's no way I'm the only one. There's no way that no one else wants this. And I just felt if I just keep putting it out there, on my Instagram, if I just keep posting, incessantly posting all my dinosaur drawings, and just being like aggressively nerdy all the time, that eventually the right people would find me, and that would be something that I could provide to them that I wish I had. So it was just amazing. Like blind confidence. Like, probably this will work.
Listen, that is so cool though, because I feel like a lot of us would just be like, okay, but I know that this is something that is needed. And then it would just be like, cool, I'm going to go take a nap though, because I'm tired and I'm good. It doesn't have to be me. I don't have to be the one. It's fine. Someone else will do it. Yeah. And you were different. You're like, I'm going to make this my thing. This is going to be my thing. And I'm going to keep showing up and keep posting. And I want to hear, like, how did you keep that going for yourself and keep that faith in what you were doing, and that, like you said, that like blind confidence? We need to know. The people need to know.
Okay, here's the real truth. It's just fucking work. It's just work. Yeah. I'm so sorry. I wish there was something better. No, it's like being like having a purpose that you care about, honestly, is half the equation. Because if my thing was like, I guess I'll just draw a bunch of whatever because that's what's popular and that's what people like, even though I don't like it, it would have been really hard to keep up that enthusiasm because my heart's not in it. So picking and finding something, and it could be the subject matter, it could be the clients, it could be like anything that you think, I mean, it could be an industry and whatever it is you're doing. If there's something about what you do that really lights you up, lean into that part. Because that's what'll carry you through when you're exhausted. But you're like, no, I have to do it because my mission is so important to me. And I love it so much. But actually, I use public peer pressure to my benefit. So
tell us more.
Okay, let me explain. So early on in my career, I knew I was doing a lot of my dinosaur stuff because I knew that's really what I wanted to be known for sure. But I really wanted to do a lot of pop culture stuff and really resonate with like all of them. I was like, it will be a beacon for my people. And it was December, and I was taking a week or two off around Christmas. So I had this like restful spirit where I was like, I'm not working right now. Everything's blissful. And then I had this magical idea where I was like, what if next year, it was 2019 was coming up. I was like, what if next year, like every week, or like every Saturday, I would drop a new flash sheet. Flash is like pre-drawn designs. I would draw a whole sheet of designs on like a different movie or TV show or comic book or whatever, and be like every single week, every Saturday, I'd be like, boom, now it's this, boom, now it's that. And I was like, wow, that's an amazing idea, Kara. You should do that. You know, I was like really like, totally.
Yeah.
And then I went onto Instagram and I gave myself public accountability by telling everyone, this is what I'm doing. So it wasn't like a secret challenge, like, I'll try, and if I fail, it's fine. It was like, I told everyone, like factually, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to do this year. So show up. And people would. I had people messaging me on saying, oh, I so look forward to Saturday when the new sheet comes out. So I don't know why I thought I could do that, because I had never in my life up until that moment successfully completed an entire sheet in 1 week's time. It was so much work. And so I was like, you've never done this once, but I bet you could do it 52 times in a row for no reason other than you think you can. So probably you can. And
how did you do it? What happened? I'm dying.
Okay, so the magic is that I actually did it.
Wow. Yes.
So I remember around week 6 or 7. That's like, maybe like mid-February. I was like, what have I done? Like, this is, oh God. So much time. Yeah. And I mean, I was working too. Like, I still had to draw all my, whatever I was tattooing that week.
Right.
And then also draw all these extra designs on top of that. And so it was a ton of work, but it just like knowing that people knew I was doing it, were waiting, that people enjoyed it. And I was having this positive feedback. I was like, I can't stop. I can't give up. I have to do it. So I put so much pressure on myself to be like, you can do this. You thought you could do this. And I bet you're right.
Amazing. And so you made it through the dip.
I made it through. I actually got to a point where I wanted a break, because one a week was exhausting. So I thought I'm gonna earn myself a month off. So I did that by doing 5 sheets in a week.
What? Oh my God.
So I did one sheet every day for 5 days.
Wow.
So that I could have a month off where I didn't have to draw any. I still have to draw my appointments, but I didn't have to do this extra thing. I think it was August. So at the end of July, I was like, I need a break. I can't keep this up. I have to have a break. And so I bought myself the month of August off by doing a sheet a day. So like,
do you recommend that? Do you that strategy?
Hey, you know what? Yes. Yes, I do. Because the extreme repetition, I am so much faster now than I used to be as an artist, right? Like now when I sit down to draw a new flash sheet, I'll usually get, not the whole sheet, but like the sketches, just okay, here's the ideas, like basically sketched up. And maybe like 45 minutes is pretty normal for me. And that would have taken me a week before this process. My appointments, it's like I was forced to really like learn how to hone down and focus and work really quickly and just not worry about the perfection and be like, okay, what are the ideas? Draw them. That one's not working. Scrap it. Move it on. Keep going, like not get stuck in, oh, but my precious idea, It's like the writer's saying, kill your darlings. It's if you get too focused on the thing that you're doing, that you're like, it has to be just like this. Right. And you get too precious about it, which is so common as an artist. You can really waste an astronomical amount of time on something that's not worthwhile. So it's, just get a new idea. Like, just think of something different and move it along if that's not working. And I've done that. I still do that. If I start working a design and I'm like, this doesn't work, I will have a tablet now so I can just open a new page and move on. I don't have to throw anything away. Thankfully.
No wasted paper.
No paper waste. But I'll just open up a new tab and be like, let's start again. And I will start fresh and see if I get somewhere new. Or sometimes now that I have the opportunity, I'll sleep on it and be like, let's try it again tomorrow because your brain don't work anymore. Yes. But you need sleep.
That is so amazing in so many ways. And I just want to highlight that for our listeners out there who aren't necessarily artists, but they're entrepreneurs. This same concept is so important. And I will die on this hill that we have to kill our darlings. That's such a good way of putting it. Like, we get so unnecessarily precious about every post, every single thing, that it is paralyzing, right?
Absolutely.
And especially us folks that aren't the privileged few, and we have been taught that we need to be perfect in order to be even close to the same playing field as the privileged group, right? So we have this idea that if we're not perfect, we suck. We're terrible. So we strive for this level of perfection it just ends up being a huge disservice to us in the end, because it just shuts us down, stops us dead.
Absolutely. I think it's this old adage of just like, you have to work twice as hard for half the recognition. And I'm like, bullshit. I'm going to work exactly as hard as I need to, and I'm going to demand my recognition.
Yes. And we're going to be good with... Yes.
I'm going to give myself that recognition. I'm not going to wait around for your bullshit. Because, like, that... We're going to go on a totally different rant now, but I'll make that entire song and dance of perfectionism is designed to keep you down.
Yes.
It's designed to keep you exhausted and in the shadows and stuck at your whatever it is that you're doing, servicing someone else's business and their needs instead of doing your own thing. Because if you were to realize how valuable your own efforts are and your instincts, because no one told me that I should do any of these things. No one backed me up. I was just like, I'm going to do all of these things because I think they're right.
Right.
But if you don't go out on a limb for the things you believe in, whatever your business is, if you're like, I'm going to leave my job and I'm going to make soap or cupcakes, or I'm going to coach people, or I'm going to do copy editing, like, it doesn't matter what it is, whatever your thing is that you're excited about, like, you have to put all your energy into it, and you cannot believe in this perfectionist bullshit lie. Yeah. Because that's what makes you stop doing the thing, right? That's what keeps you from posting. And you're like, oh no, I didn't look right. I didn't sound right. The copy's not perfect. I'll just post it next week. And you're like, you know who's not waiting? Is like bullshit Todd out there with his corporate bullshit job. However you want to like think of it, that whatever you think of in your head of some dude who just has all the privilege and gets to just float along through life getting like promotion after promotion. And it's like, that's because he put his name in the hat for the promotion before he was qualified. Right. Because it didn't matter, because they got to promote some ass hat, so why not, right? Why not you?
And the folks
put
that
your name in the hat.
Yes.
Or get your own fucking hat. And then do your own thing.
You heard it here first, everybody. Get your own hat.
I don't need a promotion. Get your own job. Get your own promotion.
Yes. This topic really lights me up so much because I know that it's something that so many of us, whether we know it or not, are doing to ourselves. We're putting such high expectations and pressures on ourselves when really the people out there that need us the most, they're not even looking for perfection. They're looking for our magic, our service, our art, and they're not even asking perfection of us. We're the ones, we're like our own worst critics and our own like worst enemy when it comes to what we're putting out. And I am the queen. I love good enough, and I highly recommend everyone to practice the art of like, your shit is good enough. I guarantee you, your good enough stuff is like eons above a lot of garbage out there. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. Everyone can come for me, but I don't care. 'Cause I'm gonna die on this hill. Our good enough is really fucking good.
Totally, it absolutely is. That's exactly it, right? You are your worst critic. Mm-hmm. And no matter what it is you're doing, no matter what industry you're in, like, you are definitely the one who is, especially if you're from any sort of marginalized identity, you are the one keeping yourself down and believing in there are real barriers, there are real boundaries, there are real things. But if you don't push for yourself, who is going to do it for you? You need to be your biggest advocate and your biggest believer and the person that knows you can do the thing. And it doesn't mean that you get to do the thing immediately. Like I said, there are real issues, there are real challenges, there are real things that might be in your way right now. But you can still keep solid with the thing that is true about yourself, about your business, and keep working towards that goal in any way you can. Because one tiny little step forward is better than nothing. One crappy post is better than no post.
Nothing, yes.
One half-ass slapped together, flash sheet that was honestly not my best, finest work. Every single one of those 52 weeks was not a treasure.
Right.
But they were all fine. They were all pretty good enough, and they got me lots of clients. And
and they inspired your people, and they got your work out there, and it made people see that that someone was doing what they wanted. Finally, right? Which is so powerful.
So many good clients that way. So many people I still tattoo found me through that. And and it was great. And so it's like, oh, do you recommend this? I'm like, okay, yes and no. Like, you don't have to like pressure, peer pressure yourself into doing the work. But sometimes that public accountability, whatever it is, even if it's something like saying publicly, I'm about to start a podcast.
Right.
Because you were very vocal before it dropped, right?
You can't hide.
Did you know about my podcast? And then the people are waiting. You have to do it. You can't just be like, I'm too scared. You're really going to go to your
changed my mind.
Nope. Too scared?
No.
Of course not.
No.
Of course not. And then here you are doing it.
Yes. And here you are doing it with me. This is so fun. And there's been so many gems. I hope that our listeners have been like following and picking up all these gems that you have been putting down, because there's so much here for us to take, right? And like, it's that little inspiration, that little push that no matter what your circumstances are today, there is something you can do, but you have to believe in yourself first. You can't wait for the permission or the direction of someone else telling you what to do. If you have something on your heart, like that flash sheet idea, it doesn't have to be that scale, but if it's something that came from your heart that you know needs to be out there, just taking that step, believing that it's good enough, and believing in yourself and and your value, and to put it out there for someone. And to keep going and not give up at the dip, right? That's huge.
Just keep going. Imagine if I'd given up in February at that 6th sheet where I was like, this is so hard. That would not, I would have built nothing. It would have been like, nobody, honestly, at the end of the day, like nobody would have judged me. It would have been fine. If my situation had changed, if something had happened in my life where I was like, oh no, I have to stop. That's fine. I could have picked it up a year from then. I could have never done it, and nobody would have been like, oh, there's a liar. Like, no, like everybody would have been fine.
Yeah.
It's not life or death, but
you wouldn't be the artist and the tattoo artist that you're today.
Yeah, I wouldn't be where I am now. I wouldn't have those skills. So, just like bottom line, perfectionism is a lie.
Yes.
It is a lie designed to keep you from doing the thing. Don't let anyone keep you from doing the thing.
Yes. What is next for your CUNTY life and business?
Oh boy. Okay. I am so excited for 2024. I feel like 2023 has been a really, really exhausting exercise in pulling the elastic backward. Like pulling and pulling and pulling. And that's what like building the studio has been. This like exhausting slog that feels like going backwards.
Okay.
But when we hit 2024, when the studio gets built, I feel like we finally get to go and just shoot forward. So having the private studio is going to give me so much freedom to change, again, the way that I provide my service. So I even been thinking about things like how I could provide like VIP options, like different levels of service for people looking for different types of experiences. So imagine coming in to get your tattoo, but first you do a little bit of like yoga, and then you get an amazing massage, and then you start your tattoo. Like how different would your physical and emotional state be for that tattoo if you had a delicious meal and all these nice things? Like these are things that I don't necessarily even know anyone doing this. I'm just like, I bet this could be a thing.
Yes.
Maybe. Also, like I said, I don't want to just do all these things in secret. I want other people to do these things. I want other people to think about how they impact their clients through the way they provide their service. So for me, obviously it's very particularly within my industry, but like that's my niche and that's what I want to focus on. But I want to use the 10 plus years of like business and management experience that I have before I started tattooing to be like, oh, most people don't have that business education. So like, how can I share that information? How can I help artists kind of get their books and their back end and all their super boring business things organized, because most artists do not care for those things. They'd rather just be drawing and doing the work. And I'm like, I actually love nerdy business stuff. So let me teach you, like take my 10 years, and I can't even imagine how much money worth of like education, and be like, do you want me to shortcut you to like how to run this really effectively? Whether you're an individual kind of managing your own books, whether you're a shop trying to manage a whole bunch of people, whatever it is, let me help you with that. So that's something that I really want to grow and build into, and be able to provide like resources for other artists and for shop owners and for things like that, so that I can share the very specific and unique skill set that I have, right, within this business management realm. So I want, that's what I see next year being about a lot, is like doing the thing that I've been working towards and figuring out how to share that with others.
I love that so much. And I think I've heard you say in the past that actually starting your own shop and going your own route is actually a CUNTY decision in itself as well. Didn't you got some pushback in that, right? Is that something that you'll empower other artists to do as well?
I hope so, yeah. I think, and you know what the interesting thing about it is, most of the pushback was me. Like, It was me because I had these really specific ideas about like how particularly other artists and the industry would perceive my decision to like, oh, I'm only 5 years in and I'm trying to do all these things and
Mm.
change things, stop changing things, little baby tattooer, just tattoo, you know. I hear I hear really veteran artists saying things like, oh, you don't really like figure it out until you're like 8, 10 years in more. And I'm like, yeah, but no one changes things after 10 years. Like new kids change
Mm.
the game. If
Mm-hmm.
you wait until you've been steeped in the industry standards for a decade, you're extremely unlikely to be like, I'd actually like to make some very groundbreaking changes to my industry. No, you're just in it at that point. You don't even see the
Yeah.
problems anymore. And I've had that happen where I've just looked around and been like, oh, why do we do it like this? That, you know,
Yes.
things that felt really normal that I'm just like, some new person will hire someone new at the shop, a receptionist, an artist, a piercer, whatever. Somebody new will come into the shop that I currently work at, and they'll be like, why do you do that? And I'm like, I don't know.
That's a
Let's
great
fix it.
question.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
feel like new people are the link to these big changes because they don't have all this baggage around doing it the traditional way and doing it the way it used to be done. They're willing to
Yeah.
change the mold. So like more and more newer artists breaking off and doing their own private spaces or starting studios maybe who are focused more on different clientele. There's more studios that are like, these are queer run studios, these are trans run studios, these are women owned studios, these are BIPOC owned studios. Like you see more of that happening. Whereas
Amazing.
if all those people just sat around waiting for some grumpy old dude who's been tattooing for 45,000 years to say it was okay, you're like, he's never going to give you his approval. So like, just take
Right.
it. And that's the lesson
Yes.
I needed to learn because I felt super like everyone's going to be so judgy. This is such a problem. And then I started doing it and everyone was nothing but delightful about it. And people were so supportive about my venture. I'm like, that sounds amazing. This is so skilled. This is so suited to your skill set. This is so in line with your vision. This totally makes sense. What a great next step for you. And I was like, yeah, this is my, you're right. You're right,
Yes.
everyone. So like,
Yes. I'm so
yeah,
glad.
like maybe there will be people, and I'm sure in the future, if I keep pushing the boundaries, I'm sure I will get shat on here and there. Or maybe it's happening right now, but it's just not happening in front of me and I don't know about it. But it's like
Mhm.
that happens, right? People will come
Yeah.
and will come for you and will try to take you down and push you back into where you
Absolutely.
were. But do not be your own worst enemy. Do not be the person
Mhm.
that stops you. Because you know what? You're the one who has the power to stop you. So
Yes.
like stop
I've heard it. I've
that.
heard it before being said, if you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. And that
Oh.
is so powerful because oftentimes we will
Oh.
defend our own limitations and be like, I can't because of XYZ. It's like, okay, then you
Yes.
just get to keep that
Then
if
you
you
get to
want.
do that. Oh my God, yes.
Right?
That's
Isn't it
100%
amazing?
it. Like,
I don't know
yeah,
who is
yeah.
responsible for that genius quote,
Oh.
but it's incredible. Yeah.
That's
So
amazing. That's exactly it. Yeah.
So to tie it all up in a bow, you
Yeah.
have
Okay.
this amazing experience. You have a drive to want to inspire new and other artists who want to do similar things or improve their business or step
Yeah.
outside of the mold. And you are so well positioned to lead them and to guide them and to teach them. And I know you've told me that you are thinking of creating something for other artists that you're working on. Can you share a little bit more with the people about what they can expect? Talk about public accountability.
Oh yeah, out me in front of everyone. Yeah, so like I said, next year is gonna be my like as soon as the studio is built, because obviously that takes a lot of energy right now. But as soon as the studio is built, and next year, my main focus is gonna be shifting into these like shareable, these like resources, these teaching, this like figuring out like how I want to share this information, and I see that the kind of long vision that I have for that is like online resources, like ebooks, PDFs, like templates, different things, as well as I want to do full coursework, one-on-one stuff, like business mentoring. I want to do retreats. I want to like, let's get together and talk about your business and meet other cool business friends. I want to do all of that.
Yes.
Right
Amazing.
Now, what I have, and I'm going to challenge myself. You've told me that this podcast is going to come out in a couple of weeks' time. So I'm going to challenge myself that by the time you're hearing these words, you will be able to go to my website and have access to the first resource that I've built. So the resource that I put together now, the first piece of the puzzle, is called Templates for Better Boundaries. And it's a series of email templates that you can use, because one of the ways that tattoo artists get really like a big time sink can be responding to your emails and communications with people, which are so important. But we're often having the same conversations or needing to provide the exact same important information to people over and over again. So writing out your templates, having your boundaries pre-designed has been a game changer for me. So when somebody's like, hey, will you do this thing? That's like, I don't really do that. Instead of me being like anxiously typing out a response about explaining like why I don't do that thing, I go back to my template that says, this is why I don't do the thing. And I send it to them, and it saves me time. It saves me mental energy. And then I'm being very consistent by not, okay, I'll do it for you, I guess, because I feel too awkward to send the email to say no. It's no. I said no to the other person. I need to be really consistent in my boundaries. So it's there's going to be like a little free version. Have a little taste. Have a few templates. See if you like them. And then if you like them, you can buy the whole set for like a couple bucks. So
amazing.
Yeah. So
that is such an incredible resource.
Actually available when you see
amazing. Yes. That is
I will get it
so
done.
Exciting. And we will definitely drop that in the show notes for people as well, so that the listeners, you can just click in the show notes. Also, what is your website?
It's crashingcadence.com. So the Instagram is @crashing.cadence, and the website is just no dot, Crashing Cadence.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then if you find either, you'll find the other, because the Instagram obviously links back to the website, and the website links to the Instagram. If you just just Google, I don't know. You'll find me. I'm
the
out
people,
there.
they will find you. It'll be all in the show notes. And honestly, Kara, this interview has been incredible. I have loved this so much. I am so excited for what 2024 has to offer you. And also, I'm going to out you again and tell the people that you are joining us in Portugal for the CUNTY Retreat. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about that and that I'm not super fucking excited for that experience. And I just cannot wait to have you there.
So hyped.
Yay! If anyone is listening to this and is so loving Kara and your amazing vibe, then you can have more time with us together in Portugal.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine the enthusiasm level. Like, we're just going to be like, boom.
I can't imagine, because I'm thinking about it and consciously curating it every day. I'm like so hyped. I'm so hyped. Yes.
Come hang with us in Portugal. It's going to be amazing.
It absolutely, positively is going to be incredible. I cannot wait. Yeah. But for today, thank you so much, Kara, for this interview. This has been incredible. I appreciate you so much. And I cannot wait to continue witnessing you and your journey and your movement in the tattoo industry. I think it's incredible.
Yes, I love it. I'm so excited. And I can't wait to see this.
Yay! Thank you so much.
Thank you.